Hey y'all, this is Tori, and we're here today to make some Valentines. Let me go over the supplies you're going to need for the project. You'll need the kit in my shop. It's downloadable and printable, and it has all of the envelopes as well as the cards that you can print out in 8.5 by 11 inches. And if you don't have a color printer at home, that's okay. You can use a local printing service, and that's really easy, and you can usually upload the files online to do that. Then you need to cut out your Valentine, so you'll need some scissors. This little device is often called a bone folder, and it's great for smoothing down the edges when you fold paper. This one's actually made out of plastic, and you can use the side of a spoon or a butter knife or something like that if you don't have a bone folder. I use two different kinds of glue sticks, cheap ones from Walmart, as well as these Oohoo sticks, which are a little more expensive. Well, actually a lot more expensive, but they work great. And for Valentine's, because I'm gifting them to someone else, I'm going to use the more expensive glue stick. Another thing you can use to seal your envelopes and to construct your envelopes are these little roly tape dispensers. They work great. This one, you just pull the tip off and then roll. I also like to have a piece of paper around for doing the gluing so it doesn't end up on my table, and an old credit card or old card of some kind to smooth the paper. These little inks can add a real nice finish to the edge of the card with a little pop of color. It's totally optional, and you can also use markers. I've used markers many times before I had little ink pads to color the edges if you're interested in that. There are different ways you can make the cards. One is to print directly onto cardstock. So this paper is kind of thick. It's about 40 pounds in weight. And I've just printed directly to it. That way, the next thing you do is cut them up and create your envelope, and you're done. Another option is to print on regular printer paper, usually about 18 to 20 pounds in weight. I printed this one on regular printer paper, and I printed the back on regular printer paper, and then I just glued them together. And that works fine as a card. And this is how I usually make my cards. I take a piece of junk mail. That's what this is, this little advertising card. And I glued my regular printer paper to the front and to the back and smoothed it down and then let it dry, and it's ready to trim, and it's nice and thick. So I think we'll start with this one, and I'm just going to trim the card. And there you go. I think I'll add a little ink to the edges. I just run the ink pad around. Try not to be too precious about it, because I actually find the messier, the better it looks. And then I like to ink from the backside too. So now I have this piece of junk mail that I'm just going to add some glue to my card. I like to go around the edges first, all around the perimeter, and then fill it in. Then I'm going to align the top of the card with the top of this junk mail, so I don't have to cut those sides. I'm always trying to avoid cutting because it's kind of hard on my hands. All right, and then smooth it down, nice and easy. And then I've got my card here to help the smoothing process. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the back side. And then make sure I'm aligning it. I just kind of align that side right against the edge and then smooth it down. And that's it. This is ready to dry now. Now that the card's all dry, I'm just going to trim, and there we go. I think I'll add a little bit of ink to the edges. Just adding a little bit of blue. So if you ink the edges or use a marker for your edges, it can cover up anywhere that the papers don't quite exactly align. Friendship is the best kind of magic. And thanks for being here, friends. And now we're going to make up a couple of the envelopes so you can see how that works. This is one of my personal favorites. I always want chocolate, whether it's Valentine's Day or not. Here's an envelope I already completed, and I want to show you. This is the front, of course. And then when you flip it over, the design gets quite bright. But I've made it more transparent on the front so that you can see the addressing. So this pointy flap is the one that comes down from the top, the same as this one here. If I turn this over, you can see that. This is the pointy flap part. And then side flaps and a bottom flap. So you've just got those 4 pieces. So first off, we're going to fold these 4 flaps around this little black line. It's kind of hard to see, especially on this one, but the line goes all around the front of the envelope. And look for that little black line. Fold the flap back and press right in the center. And then look to the side of that, look for the line and press, and then look for the line and press. That way you can be sure that you're really getting right on the line. And then I'm going to use this bone folder, this plastic folder, and you can use whatever you've got around, and you don't really have to use anything. I just like kind of a crisp line. And I'll do that on the other side. Fold it over, look for the line, press in the center, press on the edge, press on the edge, and now you're all lined up. And we just do that around the whole envelope. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just enjoy the process. I've made a few of these now, and some align better than others when I make them, and they all work great. Okay, so all of your flaps are folded towards the back of the envelope. Then we'll just flip it over, and this will be the bottom part. The sides get glued down to that, and then here's your top flap. So I'm going to put some glue on here on the side flaps. I'm going to put glue all in here, and then all in here. Doesn't take much. And then fold up the bottom flap, fold in the side flaps, smooth them down a little bit, find your card, and then give it a nice rub to make sure that it adheres nicely. And there's our envelope with lots of chocolate goodies on the back. And the cards fit right inside. And then to seal the envelope, you can use this kind of rolly tape or use your glue stick again. I'll show you how this works while we've got it out. I just roll along the edges, just like with a pre-made envelope. There's a little bit of adhesive there. And then you can just close it and seal it. Thanks for stopping by, y'all. And I really hope you enjoy and have some fun making Valentines and sharing some love in this time of divisiveness and so much hate in the world. I've never really been much of a Valentine's person, but I am now. I think we need to share all the love we can. I hope you have so much fun making your Valentines and sharing love with those friends and family and folks in your community who could use a smile. I've got a lot of these sheets of Valentines printed as I was working through this editing process, and I'm thinking I'll make them up and drop them off at the local nursing home. So that's always an option too. See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.